All right. Welcome everyone to the El Toro La Liga show. Today is obviously a pretty, I would say, in terms of the news that came out. Obviously, I haven't really talked about it on my channel about La Liga canceling the basically what the Miami La Liga game, which is pretty good news for anyone that is obviously a La Liga fan. Obviously, I think we want the validity of La Liga, the competition. I don't know why people say, "Oh, we need to increase the brand." Like everyone knows about Barcelona, about Villarreal, and all that. But yeah, before we get started, welcome to the show. Game week 10, and obviously it is a huge weekend in La Liga. Obviously, big game coming up on Sunday. Obviously, I won't do a watch long, but I will be going to watch the game somewhere here where I am. But yeah, before we get started, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Obviously, I'm trying to hopefully reach maybe 800 something, 750 subscribers. Let's try. So as always, please do hit the like button and subscribe. As always, as obviously game week 10, we're about a third of the season almost. So let's get started with the first game. We put it up here. The first game we have is Real Sociedad against Sevilla. For some reason, Google doesn't have all the match insights into this game, but this is the game that's going to be played tonight. Obviously, the nighttime kickoff at 9 o'clock tonight here in Spain. Obviously, this is also the weekend we changed the clock, so we get an extra hour on Sunday. But yeah, win probability 48%. Surprisingly, you could say for Sociedad, 27% for a draw and 25% Sevilla win. Now, as you can see, Sevilla aren't doing quite bad. You know, they got 3 wins in the last 5. People kind of predicted them to be a relegation type of team. So far, they haven't looked like that, even though they are one of the highest teams in terms of conceding goals. But they are at least picking up victories, whereas Sociedad, if you have to scroll all the way down here, they are amongst the 3 teams in the relegation zone on 6 points, only 1 win all season. So it's not been a good season for Sociedad, even though the win probability says that they have a chance to win. The last game, Sociedad, they got a draw against Celta Vigo. No surprise, honestly. But yeah, my thoughts ahead of this game tonight. Look, Real Sociedad at home, they need to be picking up points now. This cannot be longer. They need to be picking up points here, and I'm actually going with a Sociedad win. I think they'll get, they'll get started with their season. So I'm going for I'll go with a Real Sociedad win. I'm going 2-1 is my prediction. 2-1, my prediction there. Next up, we have is Girona against Real Oviedo in La Liga. The early kickoff on Saturday, tomorrow. Obviously, both of these sides in the relegation zone. So we talked about one relegation zone team. Now we're talking about both playing against each other. So it's a huge game. A victory for either would be a huge boost to their season. Win probability, it heavily favors Girona at 54%, draw at 26%, 20% for a Oviedo win. Now, as I said, both teams are in the relegation zone. It is 19th versus 20th, and obviously later on we'll talk about first versus second. But yeah, it's 19th against 20th. The bottom 2 teams of La Liga are playing against each other at the moment. A win would mean huge for one of these sides. And you probably expect the team at home, which is Girona, to be the ones picking up the victory here. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to do Strasbourg. Steve, if he ever watches this, is probably doing a watch long. I might join. Obviously, I want to maybe do a watch long with him. Not broadcast on my channel, but to be on his stream or whatever. But actually, he's on True City Fan TV Extra. Or True City Fan Extra. But yeah, predictions for this game, Girona, Oviedo, obviously it's tough because both teams, I think a draw does not suit either, and I think a win is going to be bound here. And I'm going for I'll go with a bit of a surprise. I'm saying Real Oviedo to win 3-2. I'm going 3-2. Real Oviedo is is my prediction. 3-2 Oviedo. Let's go. Next up, we have here on the Saturday, we have is Espanyol against Elche. Both of these sides, pretty decent in terms of where they are in the league this season. 48% Espanyol win, 28 for draw, 24% Elche win. Both sides next to each other, so it's also 6th against 7th. But both have had, in recent games, not the greatest in terms of not picking up as much wins as they should. But amongst them, they've only gotten 3 losses between them this season, and Elche obviously lost a few weeks ago. But both sides are looking pretty good. I don't think now at the moment it seems like actually I had both of these teams before the season getting relegated as my prediction. At the moment, doesn't seem like it. Both sides doing quite well in La Liga. And just like every other game, a win is very important for either of these sides if they want to at one stage be as high as third. One of these teams could be as high as third place come by the end of the day potentially. So I think it's a very crucial game for both sides. But I do favor slightly the home side. Espanyol, they have a good record at home, especially against Elche, I believe. So I might back the home side. I'm going with a nail-biting 1-0 victory for Espanyol. That'll be my prediction, 1-0. Next up, we have is Athletic Club against Getafe. Both of these sides, I'll be honest, have been on and off, especially more off recently. But here we have 58% Athletic Club win, 27 for a draw, 15% for Getafe win. Athletic Club, I'll be honest, haven't really had the best season so far. I know they finally just picked up their first win in the Champions League, and obviously they get to play Newcastle United in a little under 2 weeks from now. So I'm looking forward to that game. When it comes, next week's show, El Toro, I'll talk a little bit more extensively about Athletic Club for both. Look, and it's going to be quite difficult to kind of assess where Athletic Club will be by the end of the season, because I'll be honest, I've not been impressed with them overall, even though they had a very good start to the La Liga season. Same thing with Getafe. They had a pretty good start, and then they kind of just fell apart in a way in the past few games. And yeah, they're now on back-to-back losses in La Liga. So you would probably favor the home side again, Athletic Club. But I think there is some pressure on Athletic to get something in this game. I don't know. I could see this being a bit cagey for both. I'm going with a 1-1 draw in this one. I don't know. I wasn't too impressed with Athletic Club in the Champions League, but they got the victory. But they had multiple chances and can't find the back of the net, and sometimes that could be a huge problem for Athletic in these sort of games against a very low block defensive team like Getafe. So that's why I'm going with a 1-1 draw in this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if they end up winning. Next up, we do have a derby. Obviously, not. Oh God, sorry. I had the stream. I had my show on. Oh God, that's why I was a bit surprised. Like, who's talking? Oh God, a bit of a mess up by me. Okay, back to where we started. We do have a derby. It's a bit of a derby, you could say. Valencia against Villarreal in La Liga, and this is tomorrow night. The Valencian derby, you could say. Not the exact one. We'll get Levante and Valencia very soon. But this is V against V. Valencia against Villarreal. 30% Valencia win, 27% for a draw, and 43% Villarreal win. Now, obviously, this is a derby. So, look, I think given where Villarreal are, they're currently third in La Liga. But I'll be honest, I've not been impressed with the Champions League season. But obviously, this is La Liga, but they have not won in the last two La Liga games. But if they were to beat Valencia, one of their rivals, they could close in on that top, like not probably not going to finish top two, but solidify themselves in that spot at the moment. Because at the moment, it doesn't seem like Spanish clubs will not get that extra Champions League spot, considering the not so good performances by two of them, actually third and fourth, in the Champions League on Wednesday and Tuesday. Actually, both of them on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Valencia, not the greatest at the moment. I think that hammering against Barcelona a long time ago kind of derailed a bit of confidence that maybe this team had. But at the moment, they haven't picked up a win in the last 4 games, so it's not been great. And I think they really need to start picking up points here. And a big derby win could really boost their chances. And I know it heavily favors Villarreal, but I might go with a Valencia win. I still have that feeling they could bounce back, Valencia. So I'm going with a 3-1 win for Valencia in the derby tomorrow night. Maybe I'll watch this game somewhere. Who knows? But yeah, 3-1 is my prediction for Valencia Villarreal. Zoom in here. Next up, we have is Mallorca. Sorry. Next up, we have is Mallorca against Levante. It's a big clash. Big clash. Both sides just outside the relegation zone, actually. But the win probability has Mallorca at 45%, 29% for a draw, 26% for a Levante win. And if you can see here, you have to scroll. They're both just above the relegation zone, both on 8 points. So there's a lot of matchups between 1st, 2nd, 19th, 20th, 6th, 7th, 15th, 16th. So big matchups in La Liga that could determine just how teams could certainly go in this season. But both of them, not the greatest of starts. I'll be honest, but Mallorca in the last 3 games have picked up 2 wins at least. Levante only 1 win in the last 4, but they, both sides in identical records, more or less, basically. So it's a must win, but I might have to go with a draw here. I'll go 1-1. I just feel like both sides are probably going to be a bit cagey, not going to have much chances to score. So I'm going with a 1-1 draw between Mallorca and Levante. Now this is going to be a bit of a big preview. Probably going to take up a bit of time. We have is Real Madrid versus FC Barcelona. El Clásico is this weekend on Sunday, 4:15 p.m. Spain time. Obviously, we are changing the clock just before. But first, the win probability: 48% Real Madrid win, 22% draw, 30% Barcelona win. Now, look at the league table. Both of them, no surprise, first and second. Obviously, both sides, I wasn't impressed with them in the Champions League. Barcelona picking up a 6-1 home win. Yeah, 6-1. How are you not impressed? But, it's against Olympiacos. Come on, mate. It's Olympiacos. As for Real Madrid, they hosted Juventus in the Champions League. Only got a 1-0 win. But I'll be honest, I didn't really think Real Madrid were that good. But they got the job done. They're on 9 points out of 9 in the Champions League. So by technicality, they've only lost 1 game in La Liga against the big rivals, Atleti. Could this happen again? Who knows? But they're all at home. However, the last season at the Bernabeu, this ended a 4-0 win for Barcelona. So look, it's a big clash, really big clash between both teams. Look, if Barcelona win, they go above Real Madrid by a point. But if Real Madrid win, they'll go 5 points clear of Barcelona, and that would mount a lot of pressure on Barcelona. A draw, meh, but I hope there's a winner because I think it does swing a lot in momentum. It's I don't know how to describe just how important this game is for both sides in the race for La Liga title. Look, I wasn't impressed as well over the not midweek, the previous game week. Barcelona needed Ronald Araújo to come on and score the winner for Barcelona. Whereas Real Madrid, if I remember correctly, I know they won, obviously. I fucking forgot who. But but overall, I don't know about this game. It's really tough to call between Real Madrid and Barcelona. I don't know. Do let me know in the live chat what you think this result could be between both sides. That I think are obviously the two favorites to win La Liga. No shit, Sherlock. But I think a winner here does get a lot of momentum. Obviously, the last 4 games, Barcelona have beaten Real Madrid, in the Copa del Rey final, in the 2 La Liga games, the Supercopa, which I'm pretty sure they're going to meet, in January. So I think it's a big clash between both sides. And I'm going for, I don't know, to be honest, I feel like I'm not trusting the Barcelona defense, but like, you never know. But I will go for Real Madrid to win, and I'm going 3-1 Real Madrid. That is my prediction. 3-1 for Real Madrid. I just think that they have more confidence than Barcelona, but it's close to call. I'm going 3-1 Real Madrid, but I wouldn't be surprised if Barcelona win. And that would mean that there'll be 5 points clear of Real Madrid. So that'll be on Sunday. And then after El Clásico, we have a little bit of a boring game, I'll be honest. We have Osasuna against Celta Vigo. Look, Osasuna, not been the greatest team to watch, but Celta Vigo have yet to win in La Liga. 40% Osasuna win, 29% for a draw. Celta Vigo, 31% win. I know Celta Vigo just beat Nice last night in the Europa League. So literally the only wins are in Europe. But yeah, Osasuna, a bit dodgy at the moment, only 10 points, but just not really impressive. Only 7 goals scored. Budimir not really at his greatest form at the moment this season. Whereas Celta Vigo, they're just outside the relegation zone. But yet again, they just cannot. Every 7 draws, 1-1 draws. Like literally the only team in La Liga without a win. Could they go 10 in a row without a win? Could it be another 1-1 draw? Like at the moment, it seems like they could. They would, they should. I think Celta Vigo should be a lot lower than. I think Celta Vigo, I'll be honest, should be bottom of the league. If I'm going to be completely honest with you. But yeah, I have I wouldn't say a gut feeling. I wouldn't say that. But I could see Celta Vigo losing against Osasuna. I think Osasuna need to pick up some form. And I'm going with a 1-0 win for the home side. I'm going 1-0 Osasuna, and hopefully that doesn't bite me in the butt, But I'm going 1-0 Osasuna and Celta Vigo to continue their winless run in La Liga. So that'll be my prediction there. And next up we have is Rayo Vallecano against Alavés. Now, in the Conference League, Vallecano, they drew in the Conference League. I forgot who their opponents were. I think a team from Bosnia, I think. Meanwhile, Alavés, a bit meh this season, I would say. Vallecano at 45%, 31% for a draw, and 24% only for an Alavés win on Sunday night. So this is a Sunday night game. And once again, it's 10th versus 11th. But Vallecano finally picking up back-to-back wins for the first time this season in La Liga. and the first 2 wins since the opening game of the season when they beat Girona, I remember. Alavés, meh, 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, so the most inconsistent team at the moment. But at this current moment, look, both sides, I'll be honest, I don't think we'll get in that relegation dogfight, but it will be tough for them to kind of get into Europe. I'll be honest now. However, I do think that this is a huge game. I think Alavés, with the longer rest time compared to Vallecano, who had to play literally last night. This game's on Sunday, so it's only a 3-game turnaround. As I said, I'm just not confident with Vallecano being able to rotate their team as well. So I think Alavés do have the upper hand. If they were to win, it would be a big win for Alavés. And I'm actually going for Alavés win. I'm going 2-1 for Alavés to beat Rayo Vallecano in this one. So 2-1 Alavés is my prediction, an away victory for Alavés. And the final game of the game week. This is a big clash played on Monday night. So a big clash on Monday actually. We have is Real Betis against Atlético Madrid. At the moment, win probability 30% Real Betis win, 26% for draw, and 44% for Atlético Madrid win. Both sides 4th and 5th. Once again, another one against the other in La Liga. Both on identical records. Basically, Betis just 1 goal shy of being literally the exact same record as Atleti in terms of everything. But look, I'll be honest, both sides not really the super greatest. In midweek, obviously, Atleti got demolished by Arsenal in the Champions League, whereas Real Betis, I have to check actually. Who they play? A 0-0 against Genk away in the not Conference League, Europa League. So not the greatest result, I'll be honest, for Betis. 3 games into their season there. But I do know that Atleti do have the better record against Betis, and I think both sides really want to grab a win, get back to winning ways after not so good performances from both in Europe. So I'm actually going for another away win. I'm going Atletico to win 3-1. I'll go 3-1 Atletico Madrid to win in La Liga. So let me just go back just to do this. Now it's time for the El Toro de la Semana. Let me switch it up a bit. So the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the game week. I know he didn't really play as much, but he did get a very crucial goal in the game against Girona in the Catalan derby, you could say. And that being Ronald Araújo coming on late, scoring a late goal in the game against Girona. Saved Barcelona basically in that one. So I'm going for Ronald Araújo to be the El Toro de la Semana. And now it's time for the Segunda. A little bit of a recap on that. There we go. So the Segunda, this past game week 10, we had Andorra 0, Granada 0. Pretty boring game, that one. Ceuta have beaten Miranda's in their game against the side from Miranda de Ebro. Probably, I don't know if it's a shock, but a 5-0 away win for Leonesa, beating Zaragoza and Zaragoza. I mean, maybe I'll talk about it when I go to the table. Leganés beating Malaga. You had Albacete beating Castellón away, so a huge result for them. A big game. You had Valladolid losing at home against Sporting Gijón. You had Cordoba 1, Almeria 1 in the Andalusian derby. Obviously, here you go. Deportivo, we lost away at Santander 2-1. not the greatest. We're not in a good run of form. I know we're fourth in the league at the moment, 10 games in, so not great. You had Las Palmas beating Eibar, and you have Cadiz losing to Burgos. There was a game that was postponed. If I remember correctly, it was Huesca against Real Sociedad B. I think mainly because of weather, I believe, the weather. So heading into match day 11, you have Huesca against Las Palmas tonight. So a big one for both sides trying to chase, the promotion spots. You have Leonesa against Ceuta. You have Albacete against Cordoba. Eibar against Leganes. You have Burgos against Sociedad B. Granada against Cadiz, so another Andalusian derby. Mirandes are hosting Santander. Malaga versus Andorra. You have Almeria against Castellón. You then have Sporting Gijón against Zaragoza. And the game for us, Deportivo, we're playing Real Valladolid, which I did my show with Charlie La Pina Rosa. I think I said Deportivo draw, I believe. I don't remember. We're not in good run of form, but so too are Valladolid. Now, if you want to look at the league table, let's bring the league table up. So yeah, Real, not Real, Racing Santander are currently top of the league. Finally, they're back at the top, but let's see how long that lasts. And Las Palmas are with them in the automatic spots. Cadiz with a surprise loss on Monday against Burgos at home. Could have been top of the league, but they didn't. Obviously, Deportivo went on a good run of form. Four games, the past 4 games we haven't won, so we need to get back to winning ways. Almeria in 5th, they're now kind of chasing some teams down. Burgos in 6th. And then just outside the playoffs, you have Valladolid, Andorra, Gijón, Ceuta, all on 15 points, and Leganes at the bottom of the top half of the table on 14. And then you have Albacete, Cordoba, Huesca in those top half of the bottom top of the bottom half in the Segunda on 13 points. Eibar and Castellón on 12. Leonesa with that big 5-0 away win at Zaragoza, which I'll talk to once I scroll all the way down. Malaga, the only win in the last 6 games was against Deportivo. Granada are in the relegation zone, but unbeaten, so it's a bit too early. Sociedad didn't play this past weekend due to complications. Mirandes are second bottom. The team that nearly got into La Liga last season are now second bottom. And at the bottom, oh Jesus, Zaragoza. I think they're down. They sacked the manager. Fair enough, Gabi, the former Atletico Madrid player. But they're going down. The fact that they lost 5-0 at home, and I just don't see a way Zaragoza come back into it. I'll be honest. I think they're doomed. I think they're down, honestly. I just don't see where they pick up enough points to secure their safety by the end of the season. So they're going to be a big casualty in the Segunda if probably when they go down, because it's just not been good from them. So yeah, I'll be honest, I am not seeing any improvement with Zaragoza at the moment, and it seems like they're probably going to get relegated. It seems like now 5 points adrift from safety, could even be more. And obviously it's going to be tough for them. But yeah, that basically rounds up the Segunda as well. Let me bring this back. So yeah, that's basically it for the El Toro La Liga show. A bit quick, but obviously with the El Clásico and a bit of a Valencian derby for this coming weekend, it's going to be a huge weekend in La Liga. As I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. And the next time I see you guys will be on Monday for La Pina Rosa Also, just before I go, I do have tickets for a game here in my city. It is Spain U21 versus San Marino U21. That would be in about 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks from now on a Friday, the 14th of November. I will be going to that game. It's the Euro Under 21 qualifier, basically, of Spain versus San Marino. So I do have tickets. So vlog for that, I know for sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. As I said, please do hit the like button on the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.